Brooks, I'm Tom Malone, and this week I'm joined by former sponsors Shane Mann. You've got Brendan Duke in midfield, and David Jennings back as well. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Winding up the flat season now. QEII Champions Day, obviously the highlight on Saturday, but the impending end of the world is nigh, Jenno, because we've got flat racing at Thurles this week.
I thought you weren't allowed to hold Thurles race meetings when there's not heavy ground and it's not piss and rain. What's going on?
Well, as they used to say, it was Ireland's first all-weather track, so it's just come full circle because they race in every weather.
It's a clever bit of improvisation from the track anyway. And it'll be very, very interesting. It'll be tight enough up the home straight, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was going to say what the highlight of the flat season has been for you, but maybe our heroes of the flat season could be Thurles and putting on extra flat racing. Right, hero of the flat season, just because we are sort of wrapping it up. Shane, I'm going to start with you. Hero of the flat season.
He's been one of the standout performers this season. He runs again this weekend on Saturday. But Roaring Line, he's just been up there throughout. Solid, consistent horse. Didn't get the trip in the Derby, but since then he's been immaculate. Winner of the Juddmonte, and for me, he's been a standout this year for me.
Good stuff. What about you, Jenna? Who's your hero of the flat season?
Mine would probably be Alpha Centauri, because I thought she was finished in the Leopardstown trial, and I actually said to a good friend of the show, Johnny Ward, I said that filly will never win another race. She's finished. And then she takes the season by storm. And it's a pity what happened in the Matron, because if she had won that, even if they retired her after she won it, you'd be saying one of the best fillies we've ever seen. But I still think her performance at Ascot, and it was my Ascot debut, was just awesome. And that was the one wow moment. Did that really happen? It was surreal.
Track record as well, wasn't it, that day?
Alpha Centauri for me.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Juki?
Well, we bid farewell to a hero of the turf this season. Now, a truncated campaign for Order of St. George. I wonder, Tom, was it this time last year when we saw his last hurrah, when he left everything carried out in a shield, pulling the Stayers event out of the fire? And the thing about these horses like him who dance every dance is they leave a little bit of themselves on the track every time. And ultimately he could give no more this season, but what a servant he was. So he's a hero to me.
I think I'm going to shed a little tear after that.
Well, he's a misunderstood horse as well. People call him a dog, a mother dog.
If I was pricing up now flat heroes for the three of us, Order of St. George would have been 500 to 1 for one of us to pick.
I'd like to keep you guessing, yeah.
Only you could pick Order of St. George.
Let's move on to QEII British Champions Day. We'll actually start, I suppose, with Order of St. George and that race, the Long Distance Cup. Actually, Stradivarius is going to be a warm order favourite for this.
Yeah, 10 to 11 at the moment, Tom. Flag of Honour has been supplemented for the race, 15 to 8. It's 8 to 1. Sir Eric Thomas Hobson is in there at 9 to 1, 40 to 1, and bigger the rest. Down to 6 now as Mount Moriah has come out.
Fair enough. Aidan's going to throw a few old darts here at Stradivarius, isn't he?
He is, and he'd be delighted to hear Mount Moriah's come out, because now Flag of Honours is certainly to have the run of the race, and he's a hard horse to peg back, as we've seen in the last 3 runs. I'm going to take a chance on Sir Eric at around 10 to 1. I was just so impressed with him down in Limerick. This is different grade, but he was quite keen early. And then he's still inexperienced. He got trapped on heels and he didn't really know what to do. When he pulled him out, he's put 4 lengths into a couple of decent horses. Now, heavy ground, I know you can get exaggerated distances on heavy ground, but I was so impressed. I think he'll relish the trip. I'm just a little bit worried about him settling early, but he'll learn plenty from Limerick, and he's obviously got a massive engine. 10 to 1.
I was thinking he's about the same price as Thomas Hobson, so I was thinking I'd definitely back him in a match bet against Thomas Hobson if that's kind of around the place as well, just to be an absolute thief. What about you, Jenno?
I'll do it with you.
Yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
I think
I'll have even money about him.
I think Thomas Hobson will finish ahead of Sir Eric. I just think I know like Sir Eric, but he's just very inexperienced. Thomas Hobson, they've resisted the temptation to go to Melbourne this year with Thomas Hobson. He's had quite a light campaign. This is only his 3rd run. And even when he won at Doncaster, the way he travelled through that race, it looked like the old Thomas Hobson. He's probably not good enough to beat Stradivarius, but I think he's probably good enough to finish 2nd. I don't think Flag of Honour like the ground, so I'd be taking a chance on Thomas Hobson without.
Good stuff. And we've got our match bet on.
Evens, Mike Guinness.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's move on to the QEII Champions Sprint Stakes at 2 o'clock. Shane, how did it bet on that?
So the Tin Man at the moment, Tom, 5 to 2 current market leader, 9 to 2. Labrisa Breeze, the winner of the race last year. Harry Angel in there at 5 to 1, 8 to 1. Brando Taslead at 10 to 1. We go 14 to 1. Bar brings in the likes of plenty of decent Group 1 winners in the past. Just a reminder as well, we're 4 places each way in this race too.
Okay, you always talk about how you're a forgiving soul. You are a forgiving soul, David Jennings. Are you going to forgive Harry Angel?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so 6 to 1.
This
5 to 1 currently. Yeah, still a massive
I don't
price.
care if this horse wins or loses. This is the value, one of the value bets of the year.
Yeah.
It's astonishing value. Ladbrokes are 5-1. Look, if we were looking at this race and you're going through it and you'd say, right, the Tin Man and Harry Angel, if they were the same price, you'd say, well, the Tin Man is probably the more reliable because he loves Ascot. He's won the race before. But when you see one horse is double the price of another horse, that has a huge amount of ability more than the other horse, that is the wrong piece of English. What way did I put that wrong? That has more ability. Yeah. A huge... How do you put
significantly more ability?
Significant. He has significant
more
ability.
What's your job? What is your job?
I just got so...
Let's let an actual wordsmith pick this up. Are you going with Harry Angel? Are you against Harry Angel? Are you going to pull on a different strand?
I'd have to be against Harry Angel. He tried to go down in the gates again in Haydock. That wasn't reported as much as that may be what lit him up. He tried to go down and Morris Kirby just about held on to him and got him out, but he tried to get down in the gates again.
But he did get caught up in the early stages. Was it Hay Jones? He wanted the outsiders.
Yeah,
I just
6-1 though.
Well, this is it. The price is everything, and I cannot make as compelling a case as David did. But I think he's just so stressed out with the gates. I wouldn't back him.
But do you not think very quickly? Do you not think before the Haydock race, all they were concentrating on was the stalls? Oh God, we got to get this horse. He's had such a nightmare experience, and maybe they just emphasised too much. Put too much emphasis on the stalls. No. And I think if he actually does get out and starts enjoying himself, and I don't subscribe to the theory that he doesn't act around Ascot. He's been second to Blue Point, second to Caravaggio.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's fine at Ascot.
I agree with that.
And he's 6-1.
But I don't think they concentrated enough on the stalls. He tried to go down in them again. He's got terrible issues with the stalls. We'll see.
Yeah, I'd be walking that horse through stalls every day of the week. Anyway, who's your selection?
Oh yeah. What about Taz Leet?
Yeah,
who has run and 4 places. Nice. He's run his 2 best races at the track. Disappointed behind the Tin Man latest. That's true. But they've changed the pieces. They've gone with a blinkers and tongue tie combination, so that might perk him up. Drawn 1, which I like. I just have a rule of thumb that on easy ground at Ascot, you want to be drawn towards the far rail.
Yeah.
So if they perk him up with his record at the track, I thought he'd go close. I thought he'd certainly be in the 4.
Yeah, especially with 4 places there, Shane mentions. Right, on to the champion fillies and mares at 240. Lati Dar. This is her. So it could be an amazing day for Frankie Dettori and John Gosling. Let's be fair, they have a legitimate chance of a 5-timer. What about him?
Yeah, I just thought that run in the Ledger was astonishing. She was keen. Things didn't go to plan. I don't think he was ever in the place he wanted to be. And for her to get so close to Kew Gardens was a heroic effort, I thought. I think she's head and shoulders above these, and I would be very disappointed if she's beat.
Is there anything worth looking at beyond Lati Dar in this, to your eye, Chicky?
No, I agree with David. I think she's currently on form the best horse in the race. And I think she'll improve for the easy ground. I think she wants easy ground, and I think she's gone by.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And obviously the family have been pretty popular in the sales ring this week as well. And Lati and Too Darn Hot did the business last week too. Right, let's move on to the QE2 at 3:15, a race that has had significant drama added to it by the addition of Roaring Lion here. Shane, you're a big fan of Roaring Lion. What price is he?
9-4 currently, Tom, from 100 to 30. We got 5-1 Recoletus. Laura Glitter's in there at 13-2. Lauren's in there at 7-1. 15-2 a Dave. We got 14-1 Bar. Needless to say, another extra place race on offer in our Ladbroke shops. 4 places each way in the 3:15 on Saturday.
That's just making you think a little bit, isn't it? Well, Roaring Lion over a mile, won the Stars of the Season.
Yeah, no problem. I just think he's by far the best horse in the race. I think he's done incredibly well to win the Irish Champion Stakes and the Eclipse, given the ride he was given, because both occasions Oisin Murphy made his ground on the turn, widest of all. You have to be some horse to do that. Now he's drawn in 15, he'll have to be dropped in. There's a lot of hold-up performers in the race, but I just think his class gets him out of trouble every single time. This, at the least, it's going to be ridden like it's going to ride like a 1 mile 1 race, and he's proven himself to be better than these. He's beaten better horses, and I think it's quite a clever piece of placing by John Gosling to win the 2 big races, which he could do.
Yeah, what about you? Are you with Roaring Lion? Do you think maybe Lawrence could do it for the girls? Are you?
I think Roaring Lions is too big a price, because built into that price is this theory that he won't go on the ground. I think he'll really.
He's never raced on soft.
Well, so. he's run on good to soft.
I mean, the Racing Post Trophy ground last year was
soft.
That was good to soft. He's by Kitten's Joy. If I'm looking, if it started lashing rain tonight and I was going today and I was going racing somewhere and I saw Kitten's Joy, it would make it more attractive.
Yeah.
They love cutting.
Yeah,
the ground.
absolutely. There's really good stats on Kitten's Joy acting on soft ground.
So I have no problem with that, and I think that's built into the price. So my worry is the long season catching up on him. As David says, he's got a couple of really ropey rides, and he's had hard races. But John Gosling has gone out of his way to say how well he is.
Yeah.
So we'll take the G at his word. I think he will. I have had a small bet each way on Stormy Antarctic.
Oh yeah,
though,
huge price.
66 to 1. So
Good face, Jenna. Good face.
he's unlikely to be good enough, but he's running really well. He runs to a solid level, and a kind of level that there's horses in the race around 16, 20 to 1. I just can't understand when it comes up with 66 to 1. He's probably a better horse with cutting the ground, and I could see him running into a place. It's a big price, that 66.
It's the kind of race
Four
that,
places as well,
yeah,
so.
with 4 places, there'll be a furious early pace with Lawrence trying to pick it up and that as well. They could fall into it a bit as well.
Yeah, I think so. I like his each way claims.
Right, let's move on to the Kipka British Champion Stakes at 10 to 4. Cracksman is back. Okay, look. What price is Cracksman first, Shane?
Odds on at the moment, Tom. 4 to 5 we go by Cracksman. Crystal Ocean there, 11 to 4. Capri, previous Irish Derby winner and Ledger winner, 13 to 2. Was 12 to 1 bar the front 3.
Okay, we have been less than kind to Cracksman over the course of the season. Should we give him a break? Is this his race? Should we just say, okay, you're not a summer horse, you're an autumn horse, and this is your chance?
Well, I've been standing up for him all season saying he just wants soft ground. It's simple as that. And the proof of the pudding will be in the eating on Saturday. And I think he'll probably win, but he's not a backable price at that price. Like would you rather back Larty Dar at that price, at a bigger price than Cracksman, which I would. I think there's more chance of Larty Dar winning than Cracksman, but I think Cracksman will probably win. I just think the ground is just key. He's had a pretty light campaign. He's thinking about it a bit. He is thinking about it, I think. Obviously the headgear is on, and ability-wise he's the best horse in the race. I could see him winning. I think Crystal Ocean will be second, and I think Verbal Dexterity might sneak third. I know Capri is being entered, and I just don't know about Capri.
It's a shocking price.
Yeah, I don't think he's value. I think Verbal Dexterity will relish the ground, has had a light campaign, has had this race in mind for all season. He's not good enough, but I think he could sneak third. Like as I said, I don't think Cracksman should be backed, but I think he'll probably win.
Is there anything to put up against Cracksman here, Jiggy?
Oh yeah, well it's the Dead 8, Tom.
Dead
I'm surprised
eight.
you didn't mention that. You're a huge fan of the Dead 8, as Butch Harmon would say. So maybe the most interesting thing that will happen to Cracksman's price is as he starts to go down to the start, after what happened the last time. If he looks a bit mulish, he could drift, but if he goes down sweetly, that'll be something to watch anyway for people who like to watch horses going down at the start. But I'm going to take a chance on Monarch Glen each way. I can't believe the price of this horse. He should be the same price as Capri. They're rated the same horse. Now, Capri brings Group 1 form, whereas the Wolferton isn't a Group 1. But it is really strong form, and he was giving weight to horses there. He's improved so much since he's been gelded. He's a Frankel. Most Frankels like cutting the ground. I think he'll be just the same. I'd expect a career best. And, I mean, Cracksman, we'll see, but I wouldn't be backing him at odds on. And I actually thought Crystal Ocean, I know he'd no chance against Enable the last day, but I thought he looked a little bit mulish during the race. I didn't think he was really going forward. Maybe the King George run could have soured him, or am I
Soured me, anyway.
well,
How do you not win?
But yeah, so you're going to go with the Monarch.
Monarch's Glen each way. I mean,
12 to 1.
he should be the same price as Capri. I'll be surprised if he's not.
You
in the
could
third.
have someday.
Yeah.
Monarch's Glen, Stormy Atlantic. You're going for the big one.
We were just watching who finishes third and fourth over the course of a day. But right, let's move on to the rest of Saturday. Any other quick selections on Saturday for you?
I cannot wait. The race I am most looking forward to all day and
What are you
all
gonna say?
week is in the 4:30, the Balmoral Handicap. I might have mentioned this horse on this show before, but this could be a Group 1 horse running off a mark of 105. It's called Sharjah Bridge. It's 16 to 1. Now, how this horse is 16 to 1 is a complete mystery. He ran in the Cambridgeshire and he finished 7th. He was on the wrong side. He doesn't stay any further than a mile. Sylvester de Souza rode him and he tried to get him home. I think he finished second or third on that side, but he was always on the wrong side. He tanked through a race at York prior to that over a mile. And his form from earlier in the season at Newmarket has worked out brilliantly. This is a really, really good horse that just hasn't had things go his way. A mile at Ascot. And you know what? I went into his form and said, the only thing I'm doubting here is that he mightn't handle soft ground. So I went into his form. He's ran once in soft ground. He was beaten at 2-7 at Pontefract. And I said to myself, oh, God, that's the end of it now. He doesn't handle soft ground. The horse that beat him by a head was King's Will Dream, who was favoured for the Caulfield Cup and is now trained by Darren Weir and has finished second to Winks. So he obviously does handle soft ground. Oh, 16-1. I'd be shocked, flabbergasted, if it didn't go off a single figure price.
Yeah.
So get on at 16-1.
No better 16-1 shot run all weekend. Anything else for you on Saturday, Jiggy?
I was a little bit interested in Safe Voyage in the Balmoral. He's effectively up £6 from Galway because the boy Davis has gone from £7 to £5. But I thought he did really well to win there and was value for more than the winning margin. I thought he had a chance. And in the last in Leopardstown, the draw's not ideal, and he's up £7. But Perfect Tapatino can defy the handicap rise. That's strong form when he won the last day in Nace.
Yeah, he could definitely still have a few more pounds in hand. Right, let's move on to the Sunday action. We'll just think of a couple of races at Nace because that race at Kempton has kind of cut up quite significantly now. But the Redascar Clodeville Garnet Stakes off at 3:45 here, Jiggy, over a mile. What do you make of this?
Well, it's tricky. Fillies in October, as we've discussed, Tom. But Making Light finished last and lame over Irish Champions weekend. But so we'll give her a pass. She did finish lame, and she's just better than these. And if she comes back to her normal self, she'll win.
Anything for you in that, Jenna?
Yeah, sure. Forgiveness is my biggest trait.
And there you go.
My biggest flaw, Making Light. Sure, why not forgive a horse one bad run? You can forgive them 10 bad runs.
You've forgiven them, yeah. Jesus,
Forgive
George
her
the
one bad
Bridge,
run.
like.
But the one I really like at Nace is in the Birdcatcher. I think it's at 2:40. Chicago May runs for Ger Lyons and Colin Keane. Was with Henry de Bromhead. It got a mark of 82. I think it's been handicapped on its second run at Tipperary in a listed race rather than its first and third run.
It won well at Nace Sunday.
Yeah, for Henry de Bromhead, and ran over 5 just to get used to a bit of speed. And 82, I think it could be chucked in.
Okie doke. What about the Bluebell Stakes? And to close it out, I kind of like the look of Panstars, as solid as you like in these kind of races. But basically, because I just couldn't find another horse who might win it. But what about you?
I will go for Panstar too, simply because I don't even know what's running the race, and I'm just going to trust your judgment.
Okie doke. That's
Carly in there, Calaxana.
all those usual suspects
Dynamics.
who run in these like 10 to 12 furlong
Romina.
pattern races for Fillies in
I'll
Ireland
roll
on a
in behind
Sunday.
you,
Cheeky, what about you?
Well, I mean, you've stolen my thunder, Tom. But Panstar, she has a penalty and she has to prove herself at the trip. But if attitude counts for anything, she'll win. She is as game as a pheasant.
Yeah, I'm actually quite sweet on Panstar now. The two of you have tipped it.
And there's not much running against her.
There was very little run against you. Yes, very little run against. Anything else for you over the course of the weekend, maybe on Sunday?
Yes,
David?
Cork, Sunsets to Rise runs for Gordon Elliott in the Grade B handicap chase. Stable tour in the paper on Monday, which I have been burrowing away doing for the last couple of days. That runs there.
By the way, Gordon Elliott has runners in America, Far Hills in the American Grand National, Clarkham and Jury Duty.
Jury Duty, Robbie Power rides Jury Duty, yeah. And Jury Duty is favourite, probably will be tough enough to beat, I'd say. But Sunsets to Rise, Jack Kennedy rides in that Grade B chase. I thought that would be very hard to beat. And one horse that runs in the... No, I can't remember the name of it. Go on.
Okie doke. And anything else for you on the Nace car perhaps on Sunday?
Well, I can't remember the name, but I bet you Tom will, because he's total recalled. It's Gustav something runs in the 4 in Equine. He won a 6 furlong maiden.
Gustavus Vasquez.
Gustavus Vasquez.
He won a 6 furlong maiden very impressively in Ferry.
Joe Murphy.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised.
Why do you think Tom would know that and I wouldn't?
Oh well, I mean, I'm just used to working with Tom, but I don't doubt your powers. Well, maybe because you said you couldn't remember the name of a horse before.
Yeah, but
you wanted to
it's
tip.
called organised confusion, but it's not organised confusion. It's organised something in Cork.
Okay.
Producer Michael, find it for me, Mike. There.
Anyway,
Gustav's horse, he's up a furlong trip. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a stake.
that's in the 4 in Equine final.
Yeah,
at Nace.
he'll win. It won't be much for a price, but he'll win.
He'll win. Okie doke. Right, let's get time for our best bets of the weekend then. Shane, we'll start with you. Of course, Ladbrokes going best odds guaranteed on those multiples from 12 to 2 in shops. Lots of extra place value as well over the course of Champions Day too. Anyway, Shane, go best bet and a multiple.
So, best bet of the weekend, Tom, is going to come in the sprint at 2 o'clock at Ascot. Harry Angel at 5-1. Reminder, 4 places each way on that. Going to go to the QE2 then for the second leg of the treble. Going to put up a day at 15-2 for William Haggis. And finally, Capri in the 350. The Champion Stakes currently 13-2. A tenner pays just under $4,000, give or take. So, like Dukey, I'll be booking flights to foreign places. Shall I come in?
Shane, you are also a very, very forgiving human being, it would
found
appear. Okay, doke.
Optical confusion.
Optical confusion.
In the 220.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There we go.
I said organised confusion. Optical confusion.
Your best bets of the weekend, Brendan Duke. Please.
The nap would be Lachie Dar in the 240, so I'll build my Trixie around her, and I will put in the 350 Monarch's Glen and in the 430 Safe Voyage.
Okie doke. Go on, Jenna.
I will go. I just cannot wait for 4:30 to come for Sharjah Bridge in the Balmoral handicap. Will certainly finish in the first 4. Hopefully it will finish in the first 1. I also like Harry Angel in the sprint at 2 o'clock, and in the Welsh Champion Hurdle in Fosslas, I like Silver Streak, who goes really well fresh. I think it'll beat the new one.
Okie doke. My best bet of the weekend is Sir Eric to beat Thomas Hobson, so David Jennings can buy me a pint. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, we'll be back again next week for more.